After an accident, minutes matter. Your words and actions matter even more. You need help, and you need it now. This is David vs. Goliath, brought to you by Dolman Law Group Accident Injury Lawyers, a boutique firm with a reputation for going head-to-head with the insurance company giants and putting people over profits.
Hey, I'm Stan Gipe, and I'm here with my partner, Matt Dolman. We've got another edition of the David vs. Goliath podcast for you here today. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Another day in paradise. So we got with us Curtis Boyd. Before I make the long introduction to Curtis, today's focus is going to be on Google ranking factors, but more importantly, I guess more specifically, is Google local ranking factors and how important reviews play such an integral role in the algorithm that Google's come up with and continually updates every few months. It's hard to keep track of Google's algorithm, but reviews play such a prominent role, and there's ways to spam and spoof reviews, and that's part of what Curtis does and what his business does, is that it targets individual accounts that are actually playing games and violating Google's terms of service. So without any further ado, Curtis, thanks for joining us this morning. Give us a little bit of an introduction, just a brief description of your company.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Mr. Dolman.
Yes.
So I'm the founder of the Transparency Company. We build algorithms and software and AI to detect illegitimate online reviews. It's our job to predict whether a review has been earned or purchased by a business. We've been doing this for a little over 2 years now, and I've made some pretty meaningful progress.
I know we've talked a few different times over the years, and I've even retained your services. And a couple of years ago, I noticed that even some of our own reviews, it's hard to tell where some of these are coming from, whether it's attacks on our account or individuals who we didn't hire, and suddenly we get weird reviews that are also reviewing multiple companies at one time. How does it work? How do you target this? How do you track reviews across multiple locations and thousands of accounts in different verticals, whether it's personal injury lawyers, accountants, dentists, doctors, plumbers? I mean, everyone's obviously utilizing reviews and doing it in their own best interest.
We recently upgraded our technology since the last time we talked to an application called Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a really nerdy computer function which takes a small server and multiplies it in an unlimited amount of times, and it's as much as it needs. So rather than running a few reports at a time or a few businesses at a time, we now have the ability to scan an unlimited amount of businesses simultaneously, which is really cool. And what are we looking for? We're looking for red flags. Red flags in the content, red flags in the behavior, right, in the profile itself. Content-wise, we have NLP. NLP is basically a computer's way of understanding the English language. And we have NLP to identify authorship style. So if we see the same author across multiple profiles, we're going to know about it, because that's common with fake reviews. You have one writer, 50 profiles, right? If you have duplicate content, like if someone stole the review from someone else, swapped out the name or the city, or maybe added a few keywords, we're going to know exactly how much of that content is plagiarized. So we'll be able to see it. We'll also be able to see who posted the review first, who had the chicken, who had the egg, who essentially ripped off who. And then, lots of other things, with content. But into the behavior part, that's where things get really interesting. Just like SEO, where you have backlink profiles and, PBNs, public blog networks, where people are linking to all sorts of fun places. They're all become connected, right? That's one of the ways Google can say, hey, these are bad backlinks. Look at all the places they're connected. There are reviewer networks too. When people buy fake reviews, they get put into these reviewer networks, and we might not even be looking for a particular business, but there will be hundreds of businesses in that network. So if one person gets scanned and caught, we sometimes will catch like 150 people in that network. And there are small networks and there are massive networks. And in these networks, plumbers, garage door guys, locksmiths, we're talking every industry under the sun in these networks. And all over the country too. We do distance matrix analyses where we can measure the distances between the businesses. We make predictions on the likeliness of a consumer actually traveling and going to these places based off of category and distance. And we've done our best to make accurate predictions about all this. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We print this data up on a PDF report. Takes our computer server about 90 seconds, and saves a lot of time when you're trying to do some due diligence on, hey, this company, actually get all these reviews, or is this just, a bunch of hocus pocus?
Understood.
We had a little conversation pop up yesterday when we were talking about getting ready for this podcast, and Matt and I were kicking around some things about, when does something actually become a fake review or a false review? Because there's certain situations like, let's say my wife, she's got friends, we've met, we've gone out, they know me well, right? But they've never actually utilized my services as an attorney. Okay, they feel compelled to go on and say, hey, this guy's great, he's skilled, he's knowledgeable, I know he's really good at what he does, but they've never utilized the services. Is that a fake review?
That's more of an endorsement, really, and kind of how Avo kind of kicked things off in the early years. Like, look, I can endorse this person. I know who they are. Do endorsements belong on Google? Not really. But is it harmful? Is it like fake? No, like I don't think it's really all that terrible. In my opinion, fake reviews are when you're going out of your way to purchase or incentivize someone to say something that isn't necessarily true, right? That's totally fictitious. If you didn't like if they went out of their way, like, hey, like your wife's friend, for example, if you did, maybe you did their husband or someone a big solid, right? You did some good work for them and they write you something, cool. If not, and they just know you, it's not that big of a deal. For us, we're really focused on identifying the businesses that are paying freelancers overseas, to artificially inflate these profiles and make a bad business try to look like a good business. That's what we're really worried about is people making the wrong choice on who to hire.
On the opposite side, I had some questions. I can see it being easier to identify someone who has purchased, let's say, a mass of good reviews, like someone that would trigger a red flag to pop up somewhere. How do you identify false negative reviews, which would typically be like one competitor posting something maliciously? It's coming in at a much lower volume because it's not like a farm of people saying it or something. But how do you pick out those negative reviews that may just be false because someone's trying to tank another company?
Absolutely. Those are generally upsells to purchasing fake reviews first. Normally, when the way this shakes out is some freelancer overseas will solicit someone, or maybe even the business owner seeks it out themselves and like, hey, I want some fake positives. After a few months, they say, hey, this is going pretty well. How would you like to purchase some 1-star reviews for your competitors as an upsell, right? And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, that seems like a great idea. It's not, but they do it and they pay more. They pay up to 10 times as much for fake negative competitor reviews. So these overseas freelancers are really incentivized to push this product as an upsell. But generally, you're going to see more than one. It's kind of like I hate to say it's like a really bad pistachio in a sense. You can't just have one pistachio or one negative review. You're going to buy at least a few. And sometimes the way that they fulfill the fake 1-star reviews are in the same format as the way they fulfill the fake 5-star profiles. So what we do is we'll audit a certain marketplace and we'll look to see who in that marketplace is purchasing fake positive reviews. And then we look at the fulfillment styles of each of those businesses to see, do we have a match on this fake 1-star profile to any of these businesses in this area who have purchased the fake 5-star reviews? And then we can narrow it down to 1 or 2 businesses. And that way we can provide some templates for them to say, hey, we know this is you. You should knock it off. Like, we don't want to escalate. But, normally that spooks them. They're like, holy crap, I just got caught. Like, how'd they know it's me? Like, oh, man. So that's how we approach this is we look for the previously purchased fake 5-star reviews, which we almost always find.
In our office, I know Matt's probably going to nod his head, and Matt watches this on a regular basis. Like, if a 1-star review comes in, it's like someone set a fire off in the office or a bomb. We're trying to reach out, contact this client, make sure, hey, how did this happen? How can we make it right? This never should have happened. A lot of that. And almost every single time we can identify this as a real client, we fix the problem. We can get the problem
Yep.
fixed. It's a misunderstanding, a miscommunication. Something's happened where we rectify it. We've also got these few reviews where we can't find a name associated with the person. They won't engage with us to let them know who they are or how they might be affiliated with the firm. And we suspect and know that they're false reviews, but it doesn't seem like they're coming in mass. Like, how do you get like something like that may just be, hey, I've got a competitor down the road that got his friend to write a false review. Now, if it's not true, it can be libelous and slanderous, and it can be illegal. But what's the process of dealing with Google to get that off? Like, how does that work?
Getting Google to do anything is like kicking a dead mule sometimes. And I hate to say that, but it is difficult to get administrators over there to do stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? They're not getting paid to do this, right? They don't make money from moderating content. It's a cost for them, which is one of the reasons I think they're so terrible at it. But that being said, the my best advice would be to really get as much data as you can that suggests that this is a fake review, that this person had zero experience with the business, had no engagement of any kind, no phone call, no nothing, right? And then to put that into a statement and get it in front of a Google administrator. So you could always use the Google support forum and try and get it escalated by a product expert. But you also have to make sure that this is a fake review, because the last thing you want to do is silence a real consumer who may just be trying to share their legitimate experience. It is tough sometimes to separate the difference between, hey, like, they won't even talk to me, I can't verify who this is, versus, man, this can't be real, right? So and there's gray area there. Of course, we want to get it off, but even Google sometimes won't take a firm place and what to do about this, other than, hey, you can try and flag it, and maybe we'll get back to you in a few weeks. So yeah, my advice is if it's really really bothering you, to take it to the forum, the Google Help forum, and have it escalated by a product expert.
You mentioned earlier, PBNs and link farms, and that was like the old way of Black Hat, and it's now obviously we're looking at these farms of reviews. What's the incentive? Why are they doing this for? Explain to us, or explain to the audience rather. I know the answer, and Stan listens to me enough that he knows the answer to this as well. What's the incentive for these fake reviews? How does it help? How does it help on Google, let alone Yelp, TripAdvisor, and every other forum where they're posting fake reviews?
Absolutely. So Mike Blumenthal, a long time ago, identified the two review target points that you want to hit. The first one is over 10. The second one's a little over, from memory, I think it's 60. And those are where your visibility and your local SEO start to jump, where the reviews have a really big ranking factor. And so people are going to be motivated to rank better organically to get more free leads. Who doesn't want more free customers from Google local search, right? So these reviews not only play a big difference in ranking factor, they also play a major part in conversion. And actually, once you get the eyeballs on you, the reviews help instill confidence to get that person to call you. So
sure,
there's
trust.
a two-part play here. Exactly. Google is still the number one online review site by a mile. Yelp's not even, like, Yelp is a thing, but if you look at the research, I think 80% of consumers still consult Google for their buying decisions, which is higher than the other review sites. So yeah, reviews are a massive thing, and a lot of research shows that the average consumer can't tell the difference between a real review and a fake review. So you also look at the consequences. Like, what are the consequences? Honestly, that Google will remove the review. They don't really damage your rankings, so there's not a lot of incentive in today's world. I don't know how much you guys want to get into this, but there's not too much incentive not to, right? There's not too much incentive to cut this behavior out, which is why our company exists. We're trying to do something about it, but um, it's really hard to get people, big tech, to moderate this type of stuff in a way that makes it fair for everyone, makes it fair for.
There's no money in it for them. What's the money? What's their incentive? That's the problem.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, it should be about the consumer, right? Which business in my local area is qualified to take care of me really well? Who's earned that right to rank well? Who's earned that right to have so many reviews in their profile because they've done it so many times? They've put together a machine that just churns out good experiences. As a consumer, I want to work with that business. I don't want to work with some fly-by-night company that's been up for 3 months that spent a few $100 on reviews and maybe has their operations in place, maybe doesn't. There's so much research out there that shows that businesses with mostly legitimate reviews actually provide better experience, better communication, better customer service, better everything. So it is pretty significant.
I don't doubt. Just a couple of ideas I want to run by you, some maybe misnomers and misinformation. Yeah. For instance, and I'll run a couple by you, then just respond. So I've been told that a 3-star review with like a little bit of copy is harder to remove than a 1-star review with no copy. Is there a difference based on the amount of stars? Is there a difference based on whether the person actually put some thoughts, behind the star, or just an empty review with just stars? Another one also to run, when you run with this answer, or rather, respond is, I don't trust as a consumer when I see 400 reviews and 5 stars. I think to myself, there's no fucking way. How's that possible that you haven't upset one person along the way, that someone didn't have a dissatisfied, just an unsatisfactory experience, that was dissatisfied with the service? You cannot please everyone. It just doesn't seem realistic. Is a 4.8 or 4.7 more trustworthy than a 4.9 or 5.0? Those are my questions.
Yeah, I personally love businesses with lots of volume and around a 4.0 to 4.3, or even 3.8 to 4.3. That's my when I do shopping, when I look for, like, if I'm going to have my roof redone, or if I'm going to pay a contractor to come out and fix, my cabinets or something, I like lots of reviews, but not perfect, right around 4 to 4.3, because I think that's honest, that's real. Like that looks like just a busy company that's trying to do everything right. But to your question about the removals, I don't really know. I haven't been in removal mode for quite some time, in the sense of, I know if I had to guess, I would say 1-star reviews would probably be harder to remove with no content than the 3-star one. We dispute lots of 5-star reviews, and that's fairly easy, right? Disputing fake 5-star reviews. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just a guess, though, and I don't have any data to back that up. It's just a hypothesis.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, I see there's forums dedicated to this in the search engine world and elsewhere. That's why I ask, because these questions are constantly asked by individuals and posed to experts, and everyone there's not a consistent answer. If you ask 10 experts the question, whether it's Joy Hawkins or you name different individuals who are on these forums that we all know of, they all have different answers, whether it's Chris Dreyer, Jason Hemingworth, they're all over the place. So just my thought.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I kind of had a quick question about, now you're getting into removal. I can see 2 different dynamics that the company works in. One, hey, you help remove fake negative reviews from people if you're getting bashed by someone. And that's certainly, okay, the person with the review, the company that's got the 1-star that's fake, is going to be on your side, cooperating with you. It's going to be a joint effort to try to get this review removed. Yep. The other thing you've talked about is the fake good reviews. Yep. Okay, and I'm guessing when you identify 1,000 fake good reviews or 100 fake good reviews somewhere, it's typically not the client with the reviews that's helping you get them removed, because they're good reviews they've channeled to their website, I'm guessing. What's the dynamics in that situation? Do you reach out to Google and say, hey, we believe these are fake reviews on this site? Like, how does that work?
So just to clarify, are you talking about a situation where a client has decided to work with us and we uncover fake positives?
Well, I guess I should ask you, is that like, it sounded like you had a tool where you were identifying hundreds of people at a time with lots of fake reviews.
Yes, thousands.
So so let's say someone's not one of your clients, and you identify them as having a numerous fake 5-star reviews. Is that something you take action on, or is that just something you note, let your clients know, and then really move on?
So yeah, we offer basically do it yourself. Here's just the data, and you're welcome to do with it as you will, because this is just data. We will also offer as a service to dispute those illegitimate 5-star competitor reviews, right? Where we will try to remove the reviews that we believe are illegitimate and do not belong on the listing. And that's because of the data, right? We have evidence as to why these positive reviews are, in our opinion, completely fictitious. And a lot of the times, Google agrees with us, right? We also work with other various enforcement agencies, like the Better Business Bureau, for example, who does revoke accreditation based off of our reports, which is pretty cool. Which is the only way we know of to get a business off the LSA, by the way. If your BBB accreditation gets revoked, you can go to the LSA community manager and show the revocation letter. And they'll boot them out of the LSA program. But yeah, that being said, we certainly are hired to remove, to attempt to remove, because we can't remove anything ourselves, but we are hired to dispute illegitimate 5-star reviews that we've identified internally as being illegitimate.
Let me see, how much has your business grown in the past 5 years?
Oh man, I hate saying this on recording because, but let's see here. In the 2 years that the transparency company's been open, we started at maybe $2,000 or $3,000 monthly in revenue, which is pittance, right? It's nothing for a business, but a startup, it's not terrible. But now it's grown almost 100x that, so it's grown significantly.
Congrats!
Thank you.
Congratulations, Curtis.
Yeah, appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Because I knew, Curtis, that's the reason I ask that question is because, it's a need, right? You provide a service, you provide a need, but it's a need I didn't realize we actually needed until I heard about it. I'm like, yeah, what a great idea. That is a good service. But it's one of those things that until I heard you were doing it, it wasn't something that I was thinking about going, hey, we need this. So that's what I was asked. It seems like once you open up and once you let people know this is a service, they're going to flock to you, because trying to do anything with Google yourself is, like you said, trying to kick a dead mule. You can't even get a response back saying, leave us alone.
Yeah. We're certainly proud of the work that we do. Our goal is to, like I said, make true value for the consumers who are trying to figure out who to hire. We get to do that by working with really great businesses. We get to do that by working with businesses who want to invest in cleaning up their local marketplace and protecting their community and helping their local community, see through our lens of which businesses have fake reviews and which businesses are playing by the rules. And for that, we're honored.
Yeah, Stan's a trial lawyer, so he's the brains of this operation, if you will. Also my life coach. Stan's not aware of digital marketing, which is my area, is marketing and bringing in the cases for Stan to just kick out of the park, or I guess hit out of the park. That'd be a wrong analogy. Stan, you might not be aware we've used Curtis's company. Well,
I know that.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. Wasn't sure if you knew that or if you listened when I said that yesterday. So
when you explained it, I was like, that was the first time I realized we used a company. I was like, wow, what a great idea.
And we went back to the well. We used Curtis on a few different occasions. I'm going to talk to him today again at 4:00 just to go through his new system. But yeah, it works. I mean, I was able to use it myself. Once you have it download on your screen, all you have to do is update it and put the businesses in and the logistics, and suddenly it appears of who's playing by the rules, who's not. Even some of our own accounts were flagged. I mean, it's hard to keep track of reviews and what's out there, and whether even the competitors send good or negative reviews to your business. It's easily picked up, and you can show you what's called a reviewer. It's like a review farm. It's the same IP address is being hit over and over again, and they're sending a review to a Mexican restaurant in San Jose, California, but an accounting practice in Augusta, Georgia, a lawyer in St. Petersburg, Florida, a plumber in Albany, New York. And it's like, that's not how. it's just impossible. It's not like tourist destinations that these people hit. It's service operations. You're not, unless you lived in all the locations at the same time. It's in the same temporal time period. It's like 4 months ago, it was a dentist on one side of the country, and a month later, it's an accountant on the other side of the country, and in the middle of the country, there's an attorney they used during the same time period. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
So, Curtis, this popping to my mind, that this could be something maybe you've thought of, maybe you haven't, but are there any efforts in place, or have you tried to reach out to Google to see if there's any sort of almost like blue check, like a trusted verification mark you could get to put next to people's reviews, their star ranking, to say this one has been, transparency verified?
Yeah, I've certainly reached out to Google to try and coordinate with the various people and those products. A few weeks later, they took down our Chrome extension. So, yeah, I don't think they're interested from the response I got, but hopefully one day that will change.
You don't take that as an insult. It's just where can Google monetize, and probably the next thing's going to be the maps. I mean, wherever Google can put more money into their pockets and their coffers, if you will, just like the advent of local service ads killed pay-per-click, but they're still making money on both. And
Yep.
Google, it's like, how big does your yacht need to be, Google? They just want to take more and more money.
Yeah, well, I was a little flattered, to be honest, because when an 800-pound gorilla acknowledges you, you're not just like a little tick on the back. You're like, they actually reached back to scratch me off, So I'm like, all right, this little flea is making you upset. Good. That means I'm doing my job.
Yeah, it's great news.
And I need to keep pushing back. So,
well, Kurtz, tell the audience how they get a hold of you.
Oh, LinkedIn is the best place to contact me. I'm on there all the time. I love just chatting about online reviews, fake reviews, customer experience. I love doing marketplace audits. Our technology is so much faster and more accurate these days. We're up to working with 6 attorney generals now here in the United States, which we're super proud of. We also just submitted our ANPR to the FTC for the fake review collaboration, and we hope to be going to DC to their workshop on Section 230 reform, which we're really excited about. So would love to chat with anybody about a review they're worried about with a competitor.
So do consumers reach out to you or business reach out to you on LinkedIn under Curtis Boyd or under the Transparency Corporation?
Yeah, you guys are welcome. They're also welcome to go to our website, askfortransparency.com. In the lower hand corner is a little chat where they can create it, schedule a demo and learn more about our technology. We work with consumers, we work with businesses, and we work with anyone that's interested in learning the truth about which business has real reviews. We hope to work with more consumers in the future.
That's awesome. I mean, I can speak as like a brand evangelist. I've used you before. It's a great service. Stan, anything else you want to add?
No, I kind of think you and I could sit here and talk about Google reviews with Curtis for another 2 hours. I doubt everyone listening is going to get much more out of the nuances.
We're actually scheduled 4 o'clock to talk to Curtis, where he's going to take us through some of his new technology. So,
but I find this all fascinating. Like the whole process is fascinating. The motivations behind different either negative and positive views and the way you seek them out. It's like kind of the new landscape. And I can tell you, just like I felt ignorant because I was sitting there kind of like, well, reviews aren't really that important, right? When I'm sitting here in the office. But yet when I go online to try to find a service, that's the first thing I'm looking at when I'm picking someone, So I am sure anyone looking at us or looking at, reviews are one of the very, very first things they look at.
Yep.
And from a business standpoint, nothing pisses you off more than a fake negative review you can't do anything about. You will stew on it. You will sit there on it. You got people looking into it. You're trying to dig through every file you can to figure out who this person may be, and they just don't exist, so there's no way to fix it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, this wraps up another episode of the David vs. Goliath podcast. Stan, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for being on here, Curtis. And again, if anybody has any questions, Curtis, what's the phone number that they can reach the Transparency Company at?
Yeah, it's 1-888-830-3842. So that's 1-888-830-3842. Yeah, I was checking out the Law Pod services. It looks really cool. So I read that they could edit. So
yeah, they do a great job too.
I don't have to do perfect here.
No, they do it for you. So in the future, if anybody can't get a hold of Curtis, just call me or email me, and I will put you in touch with Curtis and his company. So this wraps up another great episode. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
This episode of David vs. Goliath is over, but your journey is just getting started. To share your story with us, visit dolmanlaw.com. That's DOLMAN law.com, or call 866-965-6242. The insights and views presented in David vs. Goliath are for general information purposes only and should not be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. The information presented is not a substitute for consulting with an attorney, nor does tuning into this podcast constitute an attorney-client relationship of any kind. Any case result information provided on any portion of this podcast should not be understood as a promise of any particular result in a future case. Dolman Law Group. Big firm results, small firm personal attention.